some skill over there. How's it going, peoples? This is Cooliex the Twilight Dragon here, and I'm here with a new episode of Dragonspeak for you guys. I missed you all. Yeah, sorry for the long absence, but I had to take a break for a little bit, mainly because now that I'm doing commentating with my recordings now, I had to get new software. To tell the truth, the only software I was using before was Windows Movie Maker, and unfortunately that's not going to do well with just commentating, because basically I need something better. I mean, I can't even put more than like 2 audio clips when I'm doing Windows Movie Maker, so I had to upgrade. So now I recently just got Photoshop and Premiere, and so now let's just say things are going to get much better for the channel. So again, I apologize for the long wait, but I'm back, and now we can set off Season 3 with a bang. And speaking of going for the bang, today's episode of Dragonspeak, I wanted to do my first big project. I've had this idea in my head for a while. I was telling myself, you know what? I want to go with my favorite old school mech games, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through 4 games that I grew up with, my 4 favorite mech games growing up when I was a kid. And I'm going to warn you now, Armored Core is not one of them. I know, a lot of people loved Armored Core growing up, and it is a great game, I'm not even going to lie, because I seen my friend play it, and that game is freaking amazing. It's breathtaking, especially the graphics in like the latest one. But I've personally never played the game. I played the demo one time, but I've never played the actual full game. So I'm already going to tell you now, I'm very sorry, but Armored Core did not make the list for me. And I'm not going to do the games in order as of which one was the best. I'm going to do it in the order that I played them in. So it's not like the very last one I'm going to show you is going to be like, oh, that was the best one of all of them. No, I'm just going in the order I played it in, because I'm going to tell you like how I played it, when I got it, and stuff like that. And just a note, the clips I'm going to be using are not my clips. I did not record the gameplay or anything for the next few clips I'm going to be using. I borrowed them all from YouTube, and I'm going to put the links in the description below. Is no I'm not trying to steal anybody's work or anything like that. I'm going to say whoever I bought the clip from and everything like that. I'm just using it to show you guys what it looks like, so that we have an idea of how the game looked and everything, instead of seeing just still pictures of it. So without further ado, let's unveil the first game. first mech game I ever played was Robo. It originally came out for Sega Saturn, but I first saw it on PlayStation. That's the only one I know for sure. And it's interesting how I first saw this game because I saw it at my friend's house, and I went over to my friend's house, and he just happened to have this game, and I was wondering what it was, and I was like, huh, interesting. It was a pretty cool concept. This game is very simple, but yet it's very addictive because this is one of the first games I ever played where you create almost everything. The main premise of this game is that they give you the two choices to make a robot, the red or blue, and from there on, the rest of the game is yours to learn. The main premise of the game is that you gotta get your robot from the lowest ranking to the highest ranking, and you basically choose which robot you want to fight on the ranking list, and you just go up in rank. And each time you face a robot, you get their parts. You can choose what part of theirs you want. You can pick, each robot consists of 2 weapons and a leg part. Now, they have a leg part too. You can't really choose that. The only leg part you get to choose is just the one you get in the beginning. At least as far as I remember. I think I remember later in the game you get to choose which leg part soon, but I don't remember for sure. It's been a long time. You gotta forgive me. But there's also special robots where there's certain robots that only use certain weapons. And there's a video here you see the guy's facing against Boomer, and will use boomerang weapons, which is like a weapon where it hits you once and hits you back too. So there's a lot. It's a pretty powerful weapon to have. This game was really cool. I mean, the stages were really simple, and the weapons, there's a lot of weapons to choose from. There's lances, range weapons. There's glove weapons that when you shoot somebody, you grab them and then pull them towards you and you can punch them. Those are pretty cool. I think one of the most useful weapons is usually the hand weapons. Ones they're good for punching, and they're also good for picking up obstacles on the stage for you to throw at your enemy. So those are also really good ones to have too. This game I don't know how long I would say it's long or not, but for me, I never beaten the game myself. I never got my robot to the highest rank. I just couldn't beat it because this gets when you get higher in the rank, the robots get really tough. 1, because their weapons are stronger, and 2, because it's just annoying to fight. It just gets kind of annoying after a while. But the good news about this game was there was 2 players. As I said in the beginning, you can choose to make 1 player red and player blue. You can also make a second player, and then you two can verse each other in versus mode. So now, you and your friend can make your own robot, and there you go, you can battle each other. I thought that was a really cool concept. So not only did you not create just your robot just to fight against the computer, you're using it to fight against your friend too. This is great. I mean, I had never played a game like this before growing up, where you actually got to create almost everything about your character. There wasn't many games like that out in the past that gave you all this freedom. Nowadays, a lot of games have that, but back in the day, you didn't have a lot of games where you created almost every single aspect of your character, or what's his name and what weapons does he use and stuff like that. That was a really big deal back then. So for a game like this to have something like that was just awesome, and just to make it even better, that was robots. This game, I don't know I don't know much about the difficulty. I read around comments that there's only the only 2 robots that were really challenging. One was Big Punch and Samurai. Those were I don't remember which robot was hardest for me. I just know that when I got to the higher ranks, I almost got my ass kicked, and I just kept losing all my parts and getting game over. Because basically, I didn't have to work parts for the enemy to take from me. So, it got pretty stupid from there. But still, it was still a pretty awesome game. This is one of my favorite. It was a good first mech game for me, and I really enjoyed it. I never played part 2 or 3. I only played part 1, so I don't know how part 2 and 3 came out. I think only part 2 got an official release. From what I've seen, part 3 wasn't really well known, or was probably only in Japan only, so I didn't see much of it. But yeah, for a first mech game, this is really good, and we'll see how it stacks up to all the other ones that comes up later in the list.
You must, even if I don't make it. Listen, please, be sure to stop Auman.
Anubis! Ah! Leo, wait! Sauron chose me. The universe and human subconscious are willing their own end! Look, this is the will of Metatron! Do you realize how many of my comrades died back there? You are one of the units for Project Auman.
We're pals now, aren't we?
Battle over. Anubis wins.
You have come back under my command.
You have done well.
Oh boy, Zone of the Enders 2. This game came years later, after I played Robo Pit. Just like Robo Pit, I saw this at a friend's house. He was playing this game, and I was just amazed about how crazy this game was. I mean, the action, the sound, everything. Like, the whole game was just simply wow. When you see this game for the first time, it's breathtaking. And I was very surprised to find out it was from the same makers of the people who made Metal Gear Solid. But when you see how engaging and how good the story is and everything, and the sound effects that they use in the menus, you can tell, oh yeah, this is definitely Kojima. But Zone of the Enders 2 was pretty, it's not really a customizable mech game like the other games that are on my list here, but it's still considered a mech game overall, because basically you are controlling a robot and, battling it against other robot forces and stuff like that, so it is still considered a mech game. Now, when you first see this game, even when I first saw it, it looks really, really hard and stuff like that, but actually it's really, really simple. The controls are like that, and they even guide you through it in the tutorials and stuff like that, so it's really easy to pick up and learn how to play and get into the story and into the gameplay. It's very fast-paced and it just really grips you in. I love it. I love every single minute of it. The other thing I liked about this game was that it was very anime-driven, and this is basically around the time when anime first started picking up. Basically, you see all the voiceovers and all the talking. It's really, really well done. So it basically feels like you're in an anime. And it's basically picking up a movie, so it feels really engaging, and you're wow, you gotta see what happens next and stuff like that from all the story elements that's going on. So it keeps you wanting to keep going with the story and keeps wanting you to play more. And great story, great voiceovers, great action. It just makes a great game overall. Basically, this game you're basically you're following the main character Dingo, who happens to find Yehudi when he's mining, and the main premise is that he's trying to get revenge on this guy called General Noman. That's the best summarized I can give it to you. I don't really want to tell too much, but basically it's a really amazing story, and it's just really good. How it just gets from a simple mining guy to facing up against one of the most powerful orbital frames in the world. Another thing that I liked about this game was that you didn't really have to play part 1 in order to get into the story, because I had never played part 1 until I played the HD collection. And part 1, it was alright, but it was part 1 wasn't as user friendly, I would say, because there was a lot of times in part 1 where it's oh, you gotta get this item, but they don't tell you where to go. You spend a lot of time just being lost, and it just really aggravated me. And this game is mostly just point A to point B, and even when the ones that aren't point A to point B, it's still pretty good. Trying to protect somebody, or when you fight or one of the more harder ones, you gotta fight a boss battle. You have to grab her to get the virus out of her mech, so that way she doesn't you don't want destroying her. That was a pretty hard mission, I remember that. But yeah, there's also exploration in the game too. There's times where you can get in a hangar and you can just look around and stuff like that. There wasn't too much you could do in the game. It was still good enough. It was a great game overall. my favorite thing was like I like how as the game continues you get sub weapons, you know, ranging from like, you know, projectile blasts or like ways you can grab people and stuff like that. You know, each as the game goes on, right, Jehudi, the mech that you're driving, it changes. And in the beginning, you don't really do too. He looks like normal, but later in the game, like he gets really cool powers, like he can shoot more lasers, and he gets the best move, Zero Shift. But of course, my favorite move was this one.
Shift to vector cannon mode. All energy lines connected. Landing gear and climbing irons locked. Inner chamber pressure rising normally. Light ring has started revolving. Ready to fire. The battleship is sinking. Cancel vector cannon mode. 4 more.
There is nothing more awesome than your first time firing the vector cannon. Oh my god, I felt it was like one of the most epic moments in video game history. It's just like, wow, you just feel like it just feels incredibly awesome. You know, it takes a long time to load up. It just that just increases the epicness of the whole moment. But yeah, Zone of the Enders 2 was definitely one of my favorite mech games. It was just freaking awesome. And it's also one of those games where even though nothing really changes in the story, it still has high replay value. I mean, sure, you can change the difficulty and make it a little bit harder, but it was also like secret missions you can do where they have like challenges and stuff like that. And just playing the game over again is just still fun because the overall like just gameplay was just so stunning, and it just like you just can't go wrong with it. You just love it. And even when I was playing the HD collection the other day, and it's just like it just felt like playing the whole game all over again. It's a great feeling. It's just awesome. I kind of wish they'd make a third part, but I guess I can see why they haven't. I mean, because Metal Gear Solid is like one of their basically their best successful title, so I can understand why they haven't made a third one. But it would be awesome to see a next generation Zone of the Enders game. I wonder it's because I think the reason maybe they haven't made a third one is maybe because I don't know, maybe because this one seemed like it was like an anime movie. So perhaps they would have to make like an anime movie of the game first, then convert like, you know, parts of it into the game or something. I'm not sure. I don't really know too much about like, you know, the finer details of the game, so I wouldn't know. All I know is for my second mech game, this game was awesome. You should definitely get the HD collection if you have never played this game. Like I said, part 1, it's okay, but it feels kind of stiff. And like I said, the story doesn't really help you that much on what you have to do and stuff like that. I barely got past the very beginning parts of the game because I got lost. I didn't know what to do next. There's just so many parts where they just say, you have to do this, but they don't tell you how to do it or where to go to get it or anything like that, and it's annoying. Part 2, it's fast, fluid, and fun. And that's all you really want. Like, the control is great, the story is great. There's barely times where you get lost in the game or anything like that. I mean, I never got lost in the game, to tell the truth. Like, the whole game was like I said, it was basically point A to point B. So you never, like, you know, felt frustrated. I mean, the only time it was frustrating was when you had to fight a whole bunch of enemies and you're just trying to, like, dodge and stuff like that. But that's all part of the fun of getting better and getting stronger at the game. And that's what made it awesome. Definitely a must-play. But how does this game stack up to the other 2 games I have left on the list here? Phantom Crash. There's just so many great memories of this game. Phantom Crash, I would definitely categorize as a sleeper gem. It's one of those games that it wasn't well known when it first came out, but as more and more people like started playing it, it got crazy popular. And it's funny because everybody finds Phantom Crash the same exact way I found it. You're just in GameStop one day and you see the front cover and you're like, huh, interesting. What is this game about? Like, you never heard of it before. And then you take it home and then it's just, holy crap. This has got to be my favorite mech game out of this whole entire list. I'm sorry, I know from the beginning I didn't have a favorite, but this was my favorite one, and everybody who's played this game loves it. Phantom Crash is the best game. It's like, wow. Basically, it's not really much of a... I mean, there is a story, but it's like really hard to get into it because it's like so much reading. That's one of the weaknesses of this game. The story was hard to follow because there was so much reading you had to do with like other people, with like, you know, the characters in this game. But you didn't really have to see. The thing was, you didn't really follow the story in order to enjoy the game because that wasn't. I mean, the game wasn't really like crazy story driven. I mean, that was the beauty of it. Like you can play it for the story, or you can play it for just for your own enjoyment. The whole point was that, you know, you're just some random kid who wants to become like, you know, the best like, you know, mech pilot basically, and you just like run into like all these people who are also like, you know, they're like champions of like certain ranks and stuff like that, and you just get to learn more about them as you climb up in the rank, as you climb up. Now, where do you even begin? This game gives you the most freedom out of any mech game I've ever played. Like, there's just so many things you can do in this game. It's ridiculous. First off, you have your choice between 3 different mech companies. In the beginning, I didn't really know what was the like main difference between the 3 companies, but then later you find out what it is. Basically, the different 3 mechs, they have different parts. Most of them are the same, like, you know, all of them have some kind of machine gun, all of them have some kind of like, you know, melee weapon. But as you get further into it, like, you know, they'll have some of them have different leg parts. All of them have their own like ultimate type of weapon that you can get. Like, I know one of them, I think the holy one, was I called the egg bird because it's like a big egg robot. I know their ultimate was like a laser. That's pretty powerful. Now, the thing about this game, another thing was that there's just so much stuff you can do in this game. I mean, this game wasn't just basically, you know, working on your mech. There's other things you could do. You can buy music in the game. You can buy colors, you know, to decorate your robot. You can edit the parts of the robot, because another thing I consider in this game is the weight. With the weight in the game is basically the heavier the weight is, the more damage the gun will do. But if you get too much weight and your robot goes overweight, he won't be able to move. And the lighter weight you make the weapon, the less damage it does, but then you can carry like more powerful weapons. Another thing they had to do was buy animal chips, and these are my favorite things. In the very beginning of the game, I thought they were useless, but later in the game, you have to get these things, and you have to spend money to level them up, and it's very important. In the very beginning, when you buy chips, you can just like get along. You can get through the first, like, you know, few like, you know, battles with like just a regular AI chip, but it doesn't really like doesn't say anything. It just talks in like computer garble, and you can't really understand it. But you definitely want to buy an animal chip, because when you buy them and they level up, they actually start doing other functions. The animal chips, what they do is that when you buy them and upgrade them, they increase your scope, and also they also put like an automatic shield that like takes care of like small projectile fire. Like, usually in the very beginning they won't do much, but like, you know, just increase your scope. But as you get higher, as you buy them higher ranked, they start putting like, you know, shields up automatically to like block like, you know, incoming like some missile fire, and mostly small fire and mostly machine gun fire. They're really, really useful, I learned. And that's why I was like, I mean, like I said, I used to thought they were like useless, but then I found later in the game they're actually really important. The music in this game was just great. I loved the fact that there was like something for everyone. There was like, you had your classical music, you had rock music, you had like a pop music with Mona Lisa. I loved her stuff. there's like so different types. There was so many different types of music, and I really loved that. The fact that there was so much music you can buy in the game, and you set up. And you basically set up what music you set up playlists to play what songs you bought in the shop while you're like battling, and it was really awesome. I loved it. I was like, wow. So like you can have like maybe in this battle you want to just have the classical music on that you bought. Maybe another battle you just want to have just the rock music and stuff like that. It's it's whatever you feel like doing. I love that they had that. Another thing I liked was that the fact that you can make different mechs, and then you can do this thing where you register them, and then you can use those mechs in versus mode. And versus mode was up to 4 players. So basically, if you have like a lot of money in the game, you can have your friends make their own mechs on your file, and you can just register that mech, and then you guys can battle the robots in versus mode, which was freaking awesome. The only bad thing was that this game didn't have online multiplayer, and that literally would have been awesome for this game. I mean, come on, a game where you make your own robot and you can't go online and battle other robots. That's the only thing. If that was still around, this game would have been like the most popular I would say one of the most popular Xbox games ever. I think that was the one thing that only killed this game, because everybody who plays this game will tell you this game is like awesome, and everybody says the same thing. I wish there was online multiplayer, because I mean, there's so many different combinations. There's so many different things you can buy for your mechs and stuff like that. Why can't you go online and fight other mechs and see how people made theirs? How you gonna know who you got the strongest or the weakest? I mean, because even when you think your mech is the strongest, there is always that one mech that can like kick your ass. Usually you find out it's like the boss ones. But let me explain the premise of the game. The game is broken up into the actual like gameplay of the game is broken up into 3 different stages with 2 different times of day that you can do them in. So you have 3 stages. One is like the harbor. One is like this destroyed town where you fight almost in the ground and tunnels and stuff like that. And the 3rd level is like this city. Each of them have a day and night basically stage, and they also have a few numbered ranks. I forgot what the lowest rank was, but the premise of the game, because I didn't even notice when I first played the game, I was just like, what I used to do, I just go in there, get as many robot kills as I can, and then leave. That's the thing, you have to stay as long as you can and then you leave whenever you want to. It's not like, you kill a certain number of robots and then the game just ends. No, you kill as much as you can, and then you leave the arena. That's how it works. Because when I first played this game, I thought like it would just automatically end, and next thing you know, my robot's getting destroyed, and I owe them repairs. You gotta think really strategically in this game at the same time. It's not just go in there, shoot some robots up, and not pay attention to what you're doing. You also gotta pay attention to like how much damage you're taking, because all the money you get money for killing robots, but at the same time, you have to use that same money to repair your robot if things get damaged. So a good strategy is to usually, when you're ready to go, hide somewhere, collect that first aid boxes, and then try to leave with your robot as healed as possible, so you don't have to pay as much repairs. Basically, the premise of the thing is that you have to kill all the robots in the arena at least once. Each time you kill a robot, you'll see a skull next to your name, which shows you already captain killed. Once you kill everyone in there at least once, then the arena master for that rank will show up. Your job is to kill that person and then leave, and after you do that, you get your rank goes up, and that's when the story usually continues. And then basically just keep doing that over and over and over again, and then you beat the game. And as you play the game, you start learning, and as your rank gets higher, you start learning more about the characters that you're interacting with while you're like shopping and stuff like that. And it actually gets really good. Like, I don't really remember too much story. I remember there was one guy who wanted to run a noodle stand. There's this girl who's in love with this guy who saved her, and she's really protective when anybody's like really mean to him and stuff like that. So the characters are pretty engaging if you actually read the story. But even if you don't read the story, like I said, the gameplay is there too. Now there's a whole bunch of things you can do. Like I said, you can buy parts, you can buy new mechs, you can buy music, you can buy animal chips. And one of the coolest things is that there's certain times, there's games, I forgot how many days there is in the game, but it resets after a certain number. But I remember on the very last day is the day you can go to like the actual mech shops, and then like you'll get like there's like usually rare parts or like a rare robot on sale that you can buy. And that's why I like this game. There's like so many things you can do, and there's so many things you have to pay attention to, and that's what made it so just unique. And I just thought it was like, wow, like I just had so much fun playing this game. Now, they did eventually make a second part of Phantom Crash called SLAI, and it was just straight horrid. I had bought it for the PlayStation 2, and when I played it, at first I was excited. I was like, yay, cool, well, now Phantom Crash, and they did say you can play online now. So, I, like everybody else, was like, alright, finally, now we're going to have all the clones of Phantom Crash, and now we can go online. Unfortunately, it was way, way different. First of all, they made everything so freaking complicated that it makes it no fun to actually play the game. The reason why the original Phantom Crash was so fun, everything was quick and easy. I mean, sure, in the beginning you don't know what the heck you're doing, but at the same time, as you keep playing the game, you eventually learn what you're doing, and you start realizing, hey, everything's like really quick and easy to do. In SLAI, there's a hub world. I mean, there's like literally a freaking hub where we have to like go through all these freaking wires and crap like that, and it's just so dumb, and it's really time consuming. And Phantom Crash is just a simple flat map, 6 places to go, click where you want to go in there, shop, and then leave and do what you gotta do. Another thing I hate about SLAI, freaking the arenas. In Phantom Crash, you get to choose what arena you want to do. There's different days, different rank arenas, so you can like choose to sleep past a day if you don't want to do an arena or something like that, and you have 3 choices all the time. SLAI, you can only go to one arena, and guess what? You have to pay to travel to other arenas. I was like, what the fuck? So I had to do the same one over and over again, and I had to pay to go to other ones. I mean, everybody can tell you the hardest thing about Phantom Crash, stuff like that, is the very beginning, because you have no money, and any money you do get, you have to like put that to buying parts and stuff like that. Now I had to pay to go to other places and stuff like that. It was the most stupidest thing ever. I couldn't even get into the game. I really couldn't. I was just so upset about just how confusing and annoying that the hub world was. I couldn't get into the game. I just quit right there on the spot, and I never played it again. SLAI flopped like big time. I don't know anybody who actually likes it. There's people who still will play Phantom Crash right now and say it's still like the greatest game ever. If you haven't played Phantom Crash, you definitely need to. It is a amazing mech game. I'm sorry I had to say it so many times, but you really don't understand how great it is until you actually play it yourself. Like I said, when you first play it, it's really, really confusing, but as you start learning all the, how the game works, what you gotta buy and what different things do and stuff like that, you realize how great it is and how much freedom the people who made this game give you. Like I said, there's just so much stuff you can do. Like, you can, pay to make your parts heavier so you can carry more things and make it do more damage. Like, come on now, you buy, a regular gun, and you can pay to make it heavier so it does more damage than when you first bought it. There's just so many choices and possibilities, and that's what I loved about this game, the fact that the creators gave you so much freedom, and it was just amazing. That's what really pulled you into the game, the fact that you had all this freedom and all these possibilities to go wild, and there was, tons of parts in the game, tons of different mechs, you had tons of different weapons, you had 3 different, base classes and stuff like that. Tons of different animal chips, each with their own different scopes and their own, special abilities as you level them up. It was like the sky was the limit. Like I said, the only thing that really killed this game was that there was no online multiplayer. If there was online multiplayer, this would be a instant classic, and it probably would still be going on today. Definitely a must play. But, what about the last mech game I have on my list? So now we jump forward a few months to a year later, and on GameCube, this game called Custom Robo comes out. And this was the last of the customizable mech games I can say is like, you know, some of my nostalgic ones. Custom Robo was actually pretty awesome. It was, I say it closely rivals my Phantom Crash, but you know, I still like Phantom Crash a little bit better than Custom Robo. And Custom Robo basically is more story driven than Phantom Crash was, which kind of made it more enjoyable for me to play, especially like in a single player mode. You basically play as a kid named Silva, whose father was like a really good robo pilot, and he's trying to, like, you know, follow in his footsteps. So he joins this group called the Steel Hearts, and you know, they do odd jobs, and you know, he gets his rank up, and it goes from, you know, as usual, it goes from simple tasks to them saving the world kind of thing. You know, like your typical nice little anime story. And one of the things I love was the dialogue in this game was freaking hilarious. Like, it's really fun reading the dialogue in this game, and that was what kind of made the game, like, you know, more enjoyable for me in the story mode. Just like the great dialogue. Also, the fact that this gameplay was also really good itself. Like, it was nice, simple, you know, arena style, but it was like, you know, there's a lot of things that go into it. The basic premise of the game is that, you know, you play as a Robo, and there's customizable parts you can add to it. In the beginning, as always, you don't really have much to work with, but as the game progresses, you unlock parts, and you know, that's when the game really shines, when you get more parts. Your parts are divided up into a couple of categories. Just the body part, the gun part, the bomb, the pod, and the legs. The body part is basically what differentiates each Robo model from each other. Some body parts, they allow you to like dash in the air a couple of times so you can dodge attacks. Other ones, like I think me and my brother like this, the Strike Vanisher was like each time when you dash, you kind of like disappear, and you can do it 3 times. There's body ones that they transform when they dash in the air, so it kind of like turns like an aircraft kind of thing, so they dash easier. Other ones, they jump higher, that kind of thing. Your guns are all, they kind of vary. You got like basic Gatling guns, to flamethrowers, to guns that shoot swords in the air, to the ones that shoot homing dragons. Like, it's just a crazy amount of like guns in this game. Same thing with the bombs. You know, some are like, you know, basic explosives, some blast you in the air, some knock you down. Pods, I think, were really creative in this game. Pods are, I call them like the traps. Pods are basically like these things you launch out of your back. They usually do different things. Some of them stay in the air and they hit the opponent when they get close to them. Some of them, like, you know, home into the enemy. They're like, or some just stay in one point and like just keep your enemy boxed in. That way you can, like, you know, trap them up with your other weapons. And that's what I kind of liked about this game. It was really strategic. Like, you know, there's different things you can, like, there's different ways you can, like, you know, use your different weapons together. Like, sometimes you may want, you know, sometimes you may want to use, like, you know, a far range gun, like a close range bomb, or sometimes you want your pods to do most of the work while you dash around and set traps for the enemy. You know, that's what made it really, really enjoyable. The leg parts were basically, they basically, you know, they didn't do much, but they made it basically like, you know, where you can either they make you run faster, or they make you jump higher, that kind of thing. Most of them I didn't really notice, because I think most of the time the only thing you really notice is, like, you know, the bodies really that does most of the difference, not really the leg parts. I like the multiplayer in this game. I found that really enjoyable as well. Mainly, I think this is the reason why this one gets a little bit higher ranking in Phantom Crash. You know, like Phantom Crash better. I say the multiplayer and Custom Robo was way better. Mainly because after you unlock like a lot of parts in the game, when you go to multiplayer, all 4 players, it is a 4-player game, all players have access to all those weapons. So basically, before you start the game, every player can go through all the stuff you collected and build their own mech right there on the spot. And it sounds kind of like, you know, oh, it's gonna take forever. It actually doesn't really take that long. I mean, there's a lot of parts to go through, mind you, but still, the fact is that, you know, giving each player the freedom to actually, like, you know, make their own mech right there before you start fighting, I thought that was pretty awesome. Especially, like, you know, after you beat both the game and the extra and you know, the hidden story mode at the end, and you get all the parts, it makes it more enjoyable, because now it's like, okay, well, I won with that you know, if your friend says, "Oh man, if I had like you know some stronger gun instead of the one you're using, then it'd be fair." You know, now it's now they have that chance to go through all the weapons. That made it better because like like I said, in Phantom Crash, you actually have to make the stuff first, and then you can go through like registering it and stuff like that. But if you didn't have a lot of money or anything like that, your friends couldn't really like do anything about it because your main robot's the one that's going to be the strongest usually most of the time because you put the most work into it. With Custom Robo, it's equal opportunity for everybody, and that's why I thought it made the multiplayer pretty good. Also, like the stages, the Holoceums as they call them, the stages are really creative. From the basic ones down to ones where the walls come up or where there's lava on the ground and there's a whole floor rotates or something like that. They have really, really creative stages and everything to make make the whole battle like more like interesting and more fun. It really made the game like that much more enjoyable. Now, a lot of people, when I was reading around the comments and everything like that, a lot of people didn't like the fact that this game was like story mode was more like super tutorial, and I gotta agree a little bit on that. A lot of the freaking some of the I would say like 80% of the dialogue, well not 80%, that's a little bit too high. I'll say about 40% of dialogue in the story mode was tutorials, and it was kind of annoying. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, you need to learn how to play the game and stuff like that, but come on. In almost every game you play, all tutorials are what? Like in the first chapter or two, and that's it. It doesn't have to be throughout the whole entire freaking game. Once you're like, 60 to 70% in the game, tutorials should be over. But no, there's still tutorials going on. It makes it kind of stupid. I didn't like that. I mean, sure, they tried to make it cute by like fitting the dialogue in with the tutorials, but still, it was kind of annoying. Luckily, like I said, luckily the dialogue in the game was still funny, so it didn't really bother me too much. But I did agree with people on that. Being that the whole game's kind of tutorial made it kind of like meh. But in the end, you kind of realize why they do that, because basically they're gearing you up for basically the hidden bonus story at the end where you do a whole bunch of tournaments to win the last few parts of the game. And oh god, you need to like every skill you can, because whew, those tournaments are a bitch. Excuse my language, but they are a bitch. Every single person is like crazy hard and everything like that, but it's worth it because you unlock mostly all the illegal parts. What are the illegal parts? Well, in this game, I would say the parts broken into two sections: the official parts and the illegal parts. The illegal parts were kind of like the modified version of the regular parts, except they're like much stronger and they had like something that made them like really cheap. The best example is the dragon gun. The official weapon of the dragon gun, it shoots a blue dragon, but it shoots a yellow dragon. And it's like really, really slow. It homes into damage, but it's so freaking slow. It's really easy to dodge, but does a lot of damage. The illegal version of that dragon, I think it's called the Wyvern, and that one shoots a purple dragon. The one you see in the opening video, it shoots that one. It shoots straight, really fast, and does a shit ton of damage. I mean, oh my god, that gun's like really cheap. I mean, you can beat almost any mech really easy with that gun because it's like really hard to dodge. It's really fast. It doesn't home no more; it just shoots straight, but just crazy amounts of damage right there. So basically, that's what made it. That's what I said. That's what I liked about the game. Like there was like a whole bunch of parts and everything like that to really get into it. The story, like I said, it was pretty good. It was pretty awesome. I liked it. It's like your typical anime story kind of driven. But as I said, that's what made it funny, and like it had a lot of funny dialogue, especially Harry. He was like the funniest of all of them. Kind of like your comic relief. Like he's basically the Jansen from Lost Odyssey in this game. He was good, but he's mostly his lines were just really funny. Gameplay was freaking awesome, and everything like that. Same thing I would say like Phantom Crash. This game had online compatibility. It might have stayed it might have been popular for a little bit longer, but I don't think it would have been as popular as Phantom Crash. Like I said, Phantom Crash was gave you way more choices and way more freedom than this game did. Not to say that this game was bad at all. It's just that in Phantom Crash, they gave you freedom to do everything, like make your weapons like heavier and lighter and stuff like that. There's just so much stuff you can do in Phantom Crash. In this game, you kind of got to work with what they give you, and they give you a lot, which shows, like I said, it's not that bad. But at the same time, with Phantom Crash, you have a lot more to go on with. It's not just they give you stuff to work with, but then it's like, okay, you can go beyond that. Like, yeah, here we go. We give you like some kind of gun. We give you like a regular machine gun, but you can change that gun and make it like even better than what we gave you with, and that's what kind of made Film Crash better. I mean, like I said, well, yeah, they had the illegal version, the regular version of this game, which sort of gave you a little bit, but still not enough. Still not what Phantom Crash gives you. So, all in all, like I said, this is my second best one. I mean, Zone the Enders is definitely up there too, but it's not customizable mech. The only reason I put it in this Zone the Enders in this list is because it counts as a mech game, but it's not really a customizable mech game. So in my customizable mech game list, this is definitely second place. This and Phantom Crash are both my top two. It's really, really close though. But yeah, definitely love this one. Also, if you're interested to know, there was a part 2 of this that was released on DS. I heard that one was pretty good also. But as always, a lot of people wish that they made a part 2 of this game, and I wish too. It was really good, despite being it was on GameCube. But this is, like I said, this is a really, really good game, and I was really happy to see that a lot of people enjoyed it. I mean, it was very popular when it came out and everything like that. It sold. I don't know if it sold pretty well or not. I just know from what I've been reading up on commentary like that, this game was really fairly popular. So it was awesome. Definitely a must play if you haven't checked it out yourself. And that was my top 4 mech games. Sorry that it went on for a little bit longer tonight, cause thought I was going to, but hey, I can ramble because I've been a gamer for quite a long time, so I always have a lot to say. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my first big mega project here, and I'm hopefully going to do a few more. Hopefully it won't be as long as this one, but if you enjoyed it, hey, I'll try to keep them as long as possible. Anyway, the links for it will be below. Please check out all the videos if you want to see some really good Let's Plays from other people around here. Like I said, I wasn't really trying to steal. I'm not trying to steal credit from other people's work. You know, this is YouTube. We're all trying to work together to get famous. But thank you for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the list, and I hope you enjoyed other people's work that you saw here, and I hope you can check them out as well. And as always, welcome to Season 3. I hope this is a good beginning for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy all the new stuff I have in store for you all. As always, this is Cooliex, signing off.